it does have is change, right? So very good. That's an important example that we need, right? Notice resolver is a stem changing verb, but not IR, so it's got its original stem. This, however, pedir is an IR stem changing verb, so it has a stem change in the nosotros command. Good point. Okay, más cosas, más ejemplos. Any more examples? No? It is a good start. Preguntas, questions. I heard some good ones out there. I would like you to share them. See, Sarai?
Like, when do you know?
When are we supposed to use it? Or when can we use it? Good question. Right? Its purpose. Why are we learning this? We'll find out. Más preguntas? Other questions? There were other good questions. Well, you may bring them up as I give a little more information about each topic. Okay? When can we use it? I'll answer that right away. Okay? It's the let's command. So when you're with a group of friends, okay, in Mexico, and you want to suggest that you do something, which you do all the time. You say, let's go to the cafeteria. Okay? Let's go to the movies after school today. Let's do something together tomorrow, right? So it's that idea, okay? It's the let's command. So it's a really kind of a suggestion type, all right, to make suggestions, which okay. Let's meet up to go over the notes from today's class. Yeah? Now you got the purpose of it. Okay? And we can talk more about it. Alright. So, like we said, okay, there are a couple different ways to give that let's command idea. You can use. One way is to use the nosotros form of the subjunctive. Take the verb for what you want to do, and use the nosotros form of the subjunctive. Okay, we'll be reminded of how to work with those forms, how to make those forms. Okay? Or we can use, say, vamos plus a plus the infinitive. They both have the same meaning. All right? Why is it important that we know both? So that you sound, because, well, firstly, native speakers will use both. Okay? So if someone suggests, and that's not you, you will understand what's being said. You'll understand that the person is suggesting something if they use either way, form of the nosotros command. Okay? Same thing for you, so that you increase the amount of things you can say. So your level of intelligence, all right, can be demonstrated with the language, okay, with your level of language. Okay, your level of intelligence right now is much higher than your level of ability with the language, your skill with the language. So you're trying to increase your ability with the language and how much you can say and in all the different ways you can say things to get to that level so you can demonstrate your intelligence with the language. Okay? So that's why. Alright, so how do we form the nosotros form of the subjunctive? Reminder. Okay? What do we always do when we form the subjunctive? we take the yo form of the present indicative, right? Which for hacer, don't forget, there's a 3-step process. You're gonna have to do a double 3-step process with certain verbs now. Okay? We're gonna learn that today. You take the verb hacer, for example. Okay? You can't just drop the ending and add the opposite nosotros ending with these verbs. What do you have to do? We take the yo form of the present indicative, which is for this verb, hago. For tener, it's tango. Okay, so you have to do this step or you will shut it off. Shut it off.
Which verb is ego?
There's no such verb.
I thought there was like an H-I-G-O. Is that in a tense for office?
Ego is a fake. It's a noun. Okay, so hacer becomes hago. Then you have to drop the o from whatever that first person singular of the present indicative is, so you get this new root, this new subjunctive root, which is ab. Okay, and then you add the opposite nosotros ending. Because this is an ER verb, we add the amos nosotros ending. Okay, everybody understands that? Do that 3-step process every time you conjugate to the subjunctive or the nosotros command. If you miss out, if you don't do the number 1, step 1, you're already dealing potentially and probably with an incorrect answer. Why? Because if you don't have the root, you have nothing. Okay, it doesn't matter if you have the ending. You got to get the root. Okay, it's just like when you talk about a sentence, you got to get the verb first. In Spanish, when you talk about a verb, you have to get the root first, and then you worry about the ending. So you break it down, get the root, get the ending. Now you have the verb. Now you can work with the rest of the sentence. Okay? Preguntas. I saw a hand up.
Oh.
Okay.
Wait, are these like subjunctive? Like, remember when we did the subjunctive, we did like a... No.
Yes, that's exactly what they are. It's just...
But then why is it different?
It's just the
than
nosotros form of the subjunctive.
Oh. So how is it... Then what was the other... Like, remember when we did subjunctive like a couple months ago?
Yeah.
Like, the difference between this and that is this is the nosotros form, that's it?
Well, correct. So you have learned this form.
Yeah, because I remember like flipping on it.
You have learned, right? So it's a reminder of that. But then there are going to be some other things that we need to remember because it's a command as well. It's also a command. Aside from being the nosotros form, it's also a command, so you're going to have to remember some other things with it. It's simpler in the sense of you have to remember fewer forms, but there are some other things that you're going to have to know. Okay? So that's that. So we take resolver, which is an ODUE verb, and this is the subjunctive, these are the subjunctive forms. Notice they have, because it's an ODUE verb, they have it in the subjunctive as well, but do not in the nosotros command form. Right? It's an ER verb, no second change. Okay, reaccionar is just your basic AR verb. Okay, to react. And then we get the nosotros command form. It went to reacciono first, and the ending opposite. We drop the O, add the opposite ending. It's an AR verb. So we add the opposite nosotros ending, which is amos. Right? Okay, we continue. Hay preguntas, questions up to now. All right, we discussed some of these, not at length yet, but we discussed them. All right. Sarai had an example that's actually going to be one of our examples. Okay, pedir, right? Pedir is an E to I-E verb. okay? It's an it's an E to I verb, okay? We do go to pido, alright? First person, that's the first step. First person singular with the present indicative. We drop the O and we add the opposite ending. Because it's an IR verb, it does have the change. The change will remain. Okay? If it's not an IR verb like we saw before, the change does not remain. Stem changing verb, not an IR verb. There's no change in the nosotros command. It goes back to its regular root. Okay? Regular stem. Dormir, IR verb. It's got a, oh, it's an IR verb. Is it stem changing? Right? You have to go through these processes of thinking through these things when you're doing any kind of problem. Not just the quizzes. Okay? How do you prepare for a quiz? You do the practice problems correctly up to that point. Okay? You progress your ability. Okay? Do them and think through them. Dormir is an O to UE verb. Okay? Because it's an IR verb, it's going to have a change to U in the stem. So we would run to duermo. We drop the ending at the opposite ending, which is mamos. So it would look like, but then we have to remember that our new root has to go from O to U. So it's duermamos. Okay, questions? Questions? Okay, then we have a verb like verificar, which is a CAR verb. Okay, somebody mentioned those CAR verbs. GAR and CAR verbs, they're going to have a little spelling change. And I explained why. Okay, we have verifiquemos here. The reason they have a change, okay, and it goes for the other ones too, the GAR verbs and the CAR verbs, is because the CAR here, verificar, okay, we want to keep the sound. CA makes this sound. This is the phonetic spelling for CA. That's what you want. Is ka.
Wait, what is it?
Ka. Okay? This is a universal phonetic spelling, all right? I have taken master's courses in phonetics in Spanish, okay? So this is how it's spelled. Ka. This is how it's spelled phonetically, so it's spelled like it sounds. But CE, when you did that first step, you went to critico, you drop the O and added the opposite ending, you get this CE. And CE, say A, this is its phonetic spelling. It's say. So you went from having something, the K to the S sound. So you have to reset. Now, Ku-U-A, which we plugged in, the Ku-U, instead of that say here, that now has that phonetic spelling of K. So you returned by just adding that Ku-U, replacing the Ku-U with the say, or the say. Now you got your K sound back. Okay? That's why. That's why those happen. Okay? Empezar, it's the same idea. It's a little more difficult to explain phonetically why the difference is there, but it is. It's really the difference between empezar still sounds like empecemos, whereas ZE has a more of an English Z idea. It would be empecemos rather than empecemos, empezar. Okay? Preguntas? questions? Anything on your paper that maybe you have an answer to one of your questions already on your paper? Or maybe you need more information about something else. Maybe you'd like to try to get. Okay, so now, this is the little addition, Coronel, because you asked, isn't it just the nosotros form of the subjunctive? Well, it is for the verb form. But with commands, we're going to be using direct, indirect object, and reflexive pronouns with them. And those direct, indirect object, and reflexive pronouns, because we're talking about commands now, are going to be placed in specific spots. Okay? So we have to discuss those. Alright, so that's kind of what we'll get into next time. We'll start here. ¿Qué aprendieron de mandatos? ¿Qué aprendieron hoy de mandatos nosotros? What were you able to learn today about nosotros commands? Okay, we learned in what situation we use it to make suggestions. Paloma? All right, there could be two ways to give that suggestion. Nosotros command. Good. Más cosas. Huh? Either. It could be either in it's the note, it's right. Yeah, we said that. You can either say vamos a